Yeah. So, yeah. Like I said, Mark will be joining us just as quickly as he can. He's got to get the kids and stuff all situated, but should be good to go.
You?
All right. Ma, are you ready for your recap?
All right. Remember, this is my first time, guys. So,
Bring it. I'm excited.
all right. Okay. So, last session, we find our mercenaries, the Eternal Vanguard, going into battle against the Sloth. So, everyone rolled initiative. So, let's go. The Sloth has advantage. Okay. There's only 3 guards left. So, some of the EV are running, some are ranging. Morb's on the wagon. Smalls did Blood Boom. Monroe did Fog. Drew, Malin, and Drum are running. The Sloth was engaged with the guards and didn't know that the EV were present until he was shot and hit a few times. And so then he just eviscerated the guards that were with him and squared up to attack the EVs. So he's roaring, and so with that big roar on all attacks, everyone only got half damage. The Sloth wasn't difficult to hit because, quote unquote, he was a big ass bear, but he didn't get much damage. So we talked about the new crit damage, if you crit, what that is. So then Smalls compels Duel with the bear to get his attention by slamming his axe down and glaring at him. So Smalls hits the bear with his axe. Morb uses lightning damage. We have hexes, necrotic damage, psionic strikes, and eldritch blasts flying. Quaddle uses sting. So we got a few crits, lots of damage from Smalls, but tries to cut the bear's head off. But surprise, the bear changes to become more sloth-like. His eye's still damaged, but he's looking bigger and longer in tooth. So the bear uses legendary action and tries to damage Smalls. He takes the axe with Smalls still connected to it and throws him at Xena. So Morb throws more lightning damage, and the bear yells, causing those close to it to be in fear. But Drum resists the rage and runs up and kicks him right in the balls. So Maddie engages in hand to hand with Flurry and Quarterstaff. Then Drew tried Words of Radiance, but it didn't work. But she did Healing Word on Xena. So the Sloth Bear form is now active and in frenzy. So everyone had to make dex saving throws. And then Argus becomes blind because Quaddle was attacked and killed. And so there are attacks from Athena, Drum, and Malin, and the bear pounces on Smalls and Xena again. And Smalls only takes half damage, where Xena took full. Drew uses Toll of the Dead, which sounds like a spooky cowbell, and gives necrotic damage. And puts Shield of Faith on Xena. Drum moves his full length and throws his shield to hit. So Xena decides to detect magic, but all she detects is it's not an ordinary magic. Argus goes towards the sound, runs 30 feet. He's blind, but he still does power convergence, which hits both Xena and Smalls. Xena goes down, and Smalls' dex just missed it, and the Sloth took damage. Monroe runs to Xena and Smalls to give them shelter by the fog and lays hands on Xena, and she's healed but has 1 exhaustion. Smalls, still scared, hates that idea that he's scared. He doesn't hit for damage. So Morb uses Chaos Bolt for a nat 20 and lots of damage. Maddie yells at Argus and yells at Argus, close the distance to the Sloth. He hits with flurry of blows and narcotics. necrotics. The sloth is looking really bad. It knocks him down with Crusher. Smalls is in sight of the sloth. It attacks. And both of those hit and they grapple, and Sloth gets his jump back, which causes more damage as he jumps. Smalls takes opportunity attack, which hits. Morb has been noticed. So the sloth jumps towards Morb, and it was either Morb or the cart. So Morb sacrificed himself, becoming Rubber Band Man, and his armor goes off, and he goes flat like pancake to deflect, but he still takes damage. So that's our first break. And during the break, this is hilarious. Maddie and Smalls were talking about how they've never gone down in a battle. Undefeated. Ha ha. Anyway. So Drew is up. And she puts Cure Wounds on Smalls. So Smalls is up. Xena turns towards the cart out of the fog and takes a shot at Sloth. Malin uses telekinetic to push Drum forward. Drum uses Carrion Feast and attacks with Hugh and hits with damage and really messes up the Sloth because the Carrion damage starts ripping him apart. And so the sloth falls back and is oozing. So Drum says, I told you to stop running away. So everyone runs towards the wagon. Xena and Morn kind of stay back 30 feet. Small wants to take the head off of this sloth and tries to connect, but all of a sudden the sloth disappears it becomes a cowl. So he becomes a humanoid and gets up and stabs Smalls and poisons him with the gangrene type of poisoning. Everyone has to make wisdom saving throws, except for Xena and Monroe, who are back. But this humanoid is tall with thick black hair covering his whole body, but he's buck naked. The cowl is a cloak of a bear, but it's dripping blood. So Argus can see now, and he starts swinging with his pan, and he smacks with Green Blade. Monroe's still in the fog and wants to reach out to the entity to roll and ask for a champion's blessing. So his eyes glow, and a vision takes him to the river where he sees more of the stag watch with the centaur. And the vision ends, and he hears, kill him, champion. And he throws a dagger, which misses. And Smalls doing death saving throws. More bonus healing word on Smalls. More moves away. Towards his armor, gets his armor. So Maddie hits and hits Quarterstaff. Smalls takes fall damage. And the sloth is prone. So Maddie stands between the sloth and Smalls. The sauce goes for Maddie. And takes damage, but Malin protects him, gives him protective shield so he doesn't take as much. Now the sloth, the humanoid bites, and let's see, somebody uses silvery barbs and there's an advantage to Malin. But concentration on Hex fails, so bonus sloth, grapple. So he crushes Maddie and chucks Maddie at Smalls. But Maddie has slow fall, and Smalls is yelling, I've got you, buddy. So Smalls is at 2 points of exhaustion. Malin uses recovery attacks and uses the psionic. Force damage, etc. Drew closes the distance, and Smalls, she does spare the dying, which looks like she just takes part of that death into, or he takes part of that death into himself, and does a toll of the dead. Drums raging. Humanoid sloth is unstable. Xena tries to shoot with short bow, misses. Gives Athena to Drew. Argus is swinging, doesn't hit. Monroe retrieves the dagger. Recast Bless to Drew, Drum, Morb. Closes the distance to grab her dagger. Morb's got his armor. So with Maddie, the sloth is next to him, hits him with the quarterstaff, opposed grapple. Da-da-da-da. I mean, you just can't shake him. So opposed athletics for Maddie, but he grabs Maddie by the throat and shakes him. He doesn't look pissed at him. As they look eye to eye, he looks at him with a sense of respect, and he jumps with Maddie. Xena is 30 feet away, and he jumps at Xena. And opportunity attacks for Drum and Malin and Argus. Maddie's down. Sloth takes Maddie in hand and sees Morb and throws Maddie at him as an attack. Maddie's damaged. Death throws. Finish the battle. Malin hits. The sloth is raging. Drum hits. Okay, so Athena gets help to get on the wagon for Drew. So she can do spare the dying on Maddie. Death saving throws for Xena failing. Argus hits the sloth with the pan and green flame blade. So there's 40 fire damage. Argus sweeps his Achilles tendon with a nat 20 and cleaves his head, cracks his skull. Sloth brings his hand up, but Argus knocks some of his claws off, and then everyone hears a big booming voice say, "Enough!" And the sloth falls unconscious. Let's see. Morb's perception checks and sees from an elevated position, but a lot of people, everyone's surrounded, outer walls, female centaur, Monroe recognizers from the behind the stag. Oh, recognizes her from being on the river. Vision wise, she's beautiful, carrying a spear and saddlebags stuffed with parchment that Drew notices are maps. She's a cartographer. Creatures. Oh, the creatures around her are tree creatures like little Groots. She walks up to Xena, and Argus pushes Argus and puts the tip of her sword on Xena's chest to revive Xena. Twirls the spear and puts her spear into the sloth, glaring at Argus. And so the sloth humanoid pops up and gets on his feet and yells, "Hippie, you bitch." So Hippie says, "You heard the voice. The elder wants to speak with them." The end. Was that too much?
Let's go. No, that was awesome.
I wasn't here last week, and that's
Fantastic, Xena.
fantastic. I feel caught up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did a lot of epic things. Apparently, I'm so excited, guys.
You did.
Yes.
You were totally epic.
Carried his weight, such as it is. All right. I did retcon.
Everything. Did I cover
Yes.
everything? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. No, that was fantastic. Excellent job. Can't wait to hear more. Just a reminder, I did retcon one little thing. Didn't knock when Argus got that nat 20. He didn't knock his claws off, but he did smack him square in the face. And the face indenture of Sloth is now permanently embedded into the pan that Argus carries in his arm.
Oh, that's right.
So,
okay.
With that, is there anything that anybody else wants to add before we get started? Okay.
No.
Good. All right. We kick it off. We are picking up right where we left off. The group is, you are all surrounded. As you all look at the tree line, there's a couple dozen of these folks with slings and bows, spears, all at the ready. You are surrounded on all sides with a tree line. As the centaur that walked out of the woods, identified as Hippie, has revived both Xena and the sloth. And the sloth shouts out to Hippie, "You bitch! They're mine!" And she responds in turn, "You heard the voice. The elder would speak with them. And besides," she looks around at the surrounding area, "I think you've had your fill, glutton." Sloth kind of looks around, looks at the rest of you. He is just still seething with rage. But he immediately he kind of like takes a step forward, Hippie, and she just stands there stoic, doesn't flinch, nothing. And all of a sudden Sloth stops, backs down a little bit. The long tongue, like he is very much so in a large humanoid form, but he has kind of this elongated bear's-like tongue still in his mouth, and he kind of like lets it out and licks all of the blood off of his chops and off of his teeth. He looks around and he locks eyes with Maddie as he's licking all of this blood off and just spits it on the ground, glares and growls at Maddie before walking off to the wood's edge. What's everybody doing right now?
I'm absolutely still staring at him, and I spit on the ground as well.
I'm
Are
gonna
you
call
guys
over.
up?
Pretty sure Smalls is just laying there, not dying, but like laying there.
Yeah.
And be like, "Oh, that's her. We need to give this to her."
Yeah.
Maddie, you're unconscious, so you don't actually see this exchange. He's looking up at the wagon where you kind of chipped you.
All balls.
Smalls, you're also unconscious. So unless anybody wants to go around putting on some healing spells to bring them back up, they're stabilized, but they are unconscious, not making death saving throws. Just not.
That's why I said I was just laying there.
You're good. Just letting Maddie know that he can't spit, and he can't spit at the sloth bear.
After
He
I
wasn't-
help Xena
He
get
was
up, I'm gonna head over to the cart.
Lucky pops out from underneath, and he's actually hiding underneath the cart the entire time. He does come over to Drum, as well as Pump Rum comes up out of. He's kind of been circling you this entire time. He was never far from you, never is, but he does come and land on your shoulder. Those of you that are kind of taking notice, you kind of gathering your group around. The group that are in the ones that are surrounding you are starting to converge on the group and as well towards the wagon.
Right. Xena's
In
kind of.
what kind of way are what kind of way are they converging on us?
Like they're walking towards you with weapons drawn.
I'm gonna get closer to Ingus.
Okay.
And Athena comes around Xena, and Xena's just staring up at the centaur in front of her, just like eyes wide.
Hold on, I need to do a quick roll.
Can I look at Ingus and ask and say like with a thumbs up like cargo good, and with like moving my thumb up, see if the cargo's good.
He kind of waves you off, like he's not really focusing on you. Like he gives you a gentle wave, like he's focused on all of these people coming at his wagon right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, to Xena out loud, I'm gonna go show them Kyron's thing.
Okay, so can I, as I'm looking up at Hippie, I just say, "I heard your name was Hippie."
Real quick, is
That-
that out loud or telepathically?
It was out loud.
Okay.
Yeah, and I look up at Hippie and of course say, "He said your name is."
Last time I checked.
We've been looking for you. We have something that is yours. Kyron was in our mercenary group, and he died in a training accident. And I want to give you his spirit guide, or his, what's it called?
Holy symbol?
holy symbol. And so I reach into my bag. Thank you, Malin, for reminding me. Not that I was just stunned. And I hand it to her and say, this was his, and we needed to bring it to you. And let you know that he fell. He was a mighty warrior, but fell in a training accident.
Mighty. Sure. My uncle was a coward. You you hang on to that. And she just kind of walks off back towards the wagon.
Xena just stares off and clenches her fist, and a small tear comes down her cheek. Like, what?
I'm
What
gonna
are you
put-
talking about?
I'm gonna put one of my hands on her shoulder and be like, "It's okay, Xena."
So I
It's around this.
the
Okay, go ahead.
I put the holy symbol back in the pack, in my backpack.
She has completely rebuked your offer. So she is making her way towards the wagon. Who's all around the wagon at this time?
I'm still sitting on top of it.
Okay. Has anybody healed Smalls or Maddie, or are we just letting them stay unconscious?
I don't have any healing spells anymore.
They're not
can heal
prepared
them
at the
both.
moment.
I know that
I've
they're
got some
stable.
spells.
But that's
Yeah, they're
fine.
stable. Yeah, they're unconscious. I'm just saying if they wanted to be a part of anything that's going on here. But they are definitely limp body, like knock the hell out. Maddie's on
I
top of
used
the
my
wagon.
last
Smalls
one.
is just yeah, you're good. Okay.
I
So-
have a
Smalls has something to say.
Just just knock the hell out.
I'm gonna go pick up Smalls and bring him closer to the wagon. At least
Okay.
prop him up against it.
Yeah, he's right next. He went down right next to it. So
Yeah, I'm just gonna prop him up so it looks like he's sitting, so it doesn't look like he's unconscious.
I don't
He clearly is, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
okay.
I was like, I'm gonna start moving as fast as my little legs can carry me because I want Maddie to know what happened. So I cast Cure Wounds on him. Does that work?
Stay here in a minute. But as you guys all begin to kind of make your way, you're all following Hippie towards the wagon. You all start to hear a bit of a scuffle and a commotion. Morb, you kind of look down over the edge, and Ingus has his rifle, his boomstick drawn, and is not letting anybody come near the back of the wagon. He's actually kind of doing this like ah thing, and like kind of like you roaring at people as they kind of step a little bit too close, fully ready to pull the trigger.
What are their reactions to that?
They're all kind of keeping their distance, but they all have bows on him, spears ready, slings ready. They're they're fully prepared. You get the impression they're fully prepared to kill him.
To kill Ingus.
Yes, very much so.
I draw my dagger out and point it towards Hippie.
She stops, like you're ready to like you're drawing your dagger down on Hippie.
I'm gonna yell out, "You got some answering to do before you do anything."
You're saying this to Hippie?
And all
All of them?
Hmm?
Hippie kind of takes a step back, looks at you, and says, "I don't think you're really in a position to ask much of anything, little satyr. You're surrounded. I've allowed you to keep your weapons as a gesture of good faith. You put up a good fight against my friend Harkin here, but I don't think you're in a position to demand much of anything from me right now. I would suggest you get your dwarf friend to calm the hell down, or I'll calm him down for him." Keep in mind, you are surrounded by about 24 people. You're outnumbered here easily 2 to 1.
I'm gonna look at Malin and like look at Ingus, like kind of like looking at her like, get your boy.
Okay, I'm gonna like jog forward so I'm closer and like look at him and then like give him a nod so that he can talk to me?
He doesn't really respond. He's still he's focused on everybody that's closing in on trying to get close to his wagon.
Okay, can you ask your people to stop moving for a second so that we can talk about this?
Oh, they're not moving. They're waiting.
Marshall, am I up? Did I get healed by Xena or no?
Sure, I would say that you and Smalls are definitely awakening to the rest of this going on. You guys are surrounded by like 24 people, and Hippie kind of looming over in the direction of Smalls near the wagon. Ingus is grunting at people. All this is kind of happening when they start to wake up.
Meta,
Okay.
you're up for 10 points.
Thank you.
Your wounds.
Ingus, please.
Please, what?
Please put your weapon down.
I'm not going to let these fucking savages take everything that I've worked for.
I'm gonna turn to Hippie and be like, what are your intentions with what?
Depends on what you have.
Okay, I need to know if that was out loud or if it was
Oh, yeah.
mentally.
It was out loud.
Okay.
I get next to Ingus as well with my quarterstaff because we were hired by him, so I'm going to follow his lead on what's going on.
We have been hired to keep him and his supplies safe.
I understand the concept.
We cannot let you.
Let is out of the question. I'm not quite sure what you are. Either way, please get the dwarf to calm down. I think what I'm feeling in that wagon probably doesn't want to be in this.
Could you repeat that, Marshall?
Sorry. She says, "Okay, please get your dwarf friend to calm down. If I'm feeling what I'm feeling coming from that wagon, it doesn't really want to be in there anyways."
I'm gonna look back at Ingus.
Xena stares at Ingus too.
Do you guys say anything to him? Or do you say anything to him?
Okay.
I'm gonna use message going to Malin.
Okay.
I think it's best we don't draw any more attention than necessary. And since he seems to like you, I think this is a good time to calm him down. I don't think they want our stuff.
Okay, this is gonna be to Ingus alone. It's telepathic. I don't know what you have in there, and I know it's not any of our business. But if there's something alive in there, they're most likely gonna want just that.
Just as you go to finish that sentence, something alive, he turns to you and says, "You're right. It's none of your goddamn bit." As soon as he goes to finish that sentence at you, it goes completely blank. The connection that you have to his mind is completely severed. It's blank, as if you're just hearing white noise. And all of you surrounding him can see that he has immediately seized up. He has gone stiff as a board. And he just kind of stands there.
I'm gonna rush toward him.
He is stiff as a board. He is not moving if you're touching him.
Okay.
Let's finish up here. Hippie talks behind you. You get the impression, as you guys all kind of like take notice, she like puts her hands down and then redraws her spear from her back. You get the impression she just cast some kind of spell. And then all of a sudden, the rest of them start converging on the back of the wagon. You guys moving us out of the way?
I'm going to use Sanctuary on Ingus.
Okay.
That's a bonus action spell.
Yeah.
It just gives disadvantage on attacks towards him.
Okay. Anything from anybody else?
I'm gonna stand to protect him.
Okay.
I'm gonna immediately move to be directly behind the wagon.
Smalls, who's not used to getting his ass kicked like that, has been sitting this whole time. He's going to slowly kind of raise himself up. He was just listening. Slowly raise himself up to kind of stand up and make his presence known that he is awake and paying attention.
Or
They all move.
hurt, so
Oh,
we can't really do anything. So
Okay.
I'm just watching.
anything from Warren Rowe? Anything from Drew? Xena?
Xena's just staring like, what is happening? What is going on? Especially at the notion of something alive in the back of the cart.
Okay. About a dozen of the guards start converging in. They don't touch Ingus. They don't touch any of you. They move right past you. Drum, they actually politely kind of like gesture you to
I am going to look at Ingus.
He's
Maddie,
frozen
are you
looking. He's frozen looking forward. He can't look at you right now.
Okay. Maddie, are you conscious?
I am.
Cool. I'm gonna look at you, and to them, I'm going to say, let's settle some other business first before we discuss trading.
You all are the most stubborn group that we've come across in a while. This isn't a trade. This isn't a barter. Either move or be moved. This is Hippie speaking to you.
Well, we're gonna see if this works.
Before something happens, I'm gonna be sitting on on top of the cart. I'm gonna use the butt of my rifle to tap Drum on the shoulder and like, this isn't a fight. We should start.
I'm gonna look up at Morph and nod and step out of the way.
Finally, some civility. She kind of like moves her hand, and the rest of them move in. And they throw the flat back on the wagon.
Does that mean the
And
face? I'm sitting on top
Can
of
I
it.
compel
Yeah.
Bill Hippie?
What?
If you want to.
To get her to stop and to look at me.
If you want to. You have Compel Duel? Yeah, I think you do as a spell, right?
I do.
Okay. What do I need to beat?
Let me check. My very first time ever doing it.
I think it's a wisdom save, right?
It is a wisdom saving throw of 13.
13. Yeah. What does it look like when you try to compel this duel? What are you trying to do?
Not necessarily. It's like it's either to duel or to compel. It's like compelling to shut up and listen. Because I'm about to. It's almost like a thunderous lightning mixed with like a mist, like the sound of like a sparkler just blaring off. And if it works or doesn't, I'm still gonna yell out and go, isn't there someone that needs our attention more now?
Roll me a perception check.
A 19.
She kind of looks at you with this confused look on her face, like you have this big, thundering, booming presence that nobody in this group's seen before. This is new. This is kind of a Morn Rowe thing that Morn Rowe didn't even know he was capable of. It definitely gets a lot of people's attention as several guards shift their weapons your way. Like, the hippie looks your way. She has no idea, but just by the look on her face, she has no idea what the hell you're saying. But somebody's attention you definitely got was the captured Marine.
There you are.
She kind of looks like, who's the leader of your group?
I'm gonna point at Maddie.
And I was like, please don't tell me it's the loud one over here.
I'm pointing at Maddie.
I'm gonna look at Maddie.
Maddie slowly steps forward after waking up from being unconscious.
This will go so much easier and quicker if you all just shut up. So do me a favor and keep the booming one over there quiet. Do
Like
that
how
for me.
Like, how many people are around us? Like, it's dozens of archers, you said?
About 24 people. About 24, give or take.
Yeah. I do look over at Morn and the rest of the crew, and I say that we need to protect Ingus. This isn't a fight we can win. And
Just
I slowly step
oh, go ahead.
and I just slowly step back towards Ingus and Malin.
Okay. Do you guys try to like move Ingus in any way?
No.
Okay. He's still just standing there. He's like, he has his rifle drawn, his butt up against his shoulder, finger on the trigger, eyes wide. He has like his mouth kind of open like he was growling or grunting at somebody. He is completely frozen this moment. He is not flinching in the slightest. But as you're all doing this and all this is going on, one of the guards throws the flat back and all this is kind of proceeding. It hits Morb in the face. It kind of splashes back a little bit. All of a sudden, one of the guards jumps up, looks around for half a second or so, then jumps back down, pops the latches on either side of the wagon and throws the flap down and brings down a small ladder. And out comes about 5 children. Various races.
Aghast.
Various races. Oh, no more. Each of them's no more than about 10 years old. Well, interesting company you keep.
Mark's gonna get super pissed.
Holy
He's not gonna do anything, but you can clearly see it almost seems like he's like boiling. Like he starts. It almost looks like there's like an audible bubble to him.
I'm gonna look really confused at Ingus next to me.
Smalls is on the same page as Morb. I'm not gonna allow anything to be seen, but you can tell that energy around Smalls has definitely shifted in a not good way.
I can see why she wants to speak to all of you. This has been a fun day. All right. Break out the rope. We need to get out of here. More patrols will be coming soon anyways. Harkin, take the point. As you all notice, like when she starts yelling Harkin, she's speaking to Sloth. The bear kind of rears up and like snorts a little bit again. He's still kind of like growling again, and he starts making his way towards the edge of the wood. Several of the guards come up and they present a length of rope. I'll need all of you to go ahead and bind your hands and tie yourselves together one by one behind the other, nice straight line, whatever you need to do. Whatever you do, don't let go of the rope. We're not turning back for you if you wonder. You can keep your weapons, as I said, as a show of good faith, but I will warn you again. Any more of this, and a lot of us will die here today. Most of us see
will
more.
die too.
Say what?
A lot of you will die too.
Oh, we're prepared. Don't worry about that. So, let's get going, shall we? All of a sudden, all of these little like earth elementals, these little tiny Groots, start like springing out from around her, and they're going off into the woods. They're going around everybody. They're kind of moving over towards the wagon, and all of a sudden, their little fingers start sprouting out these little vines that start encasing the entire wagon. And within a few seconds, it's hoisted up, off of the ground, up into the tree canopy, and disappears from view. The beetle is also found as several people come over, and they're leading it gently, very, very gently. And they appear to have been feeding it, taking care of it. The beetle seems more than happy. And just kind of trotting along, following behind some more guards that have shown up. But they all start passing out these lengths of rope. Doesn't seem to be anything particularly unique about the rope. It's just a length of hemp rope. But they did bid all of you to bind your hands together. Tie yourselves off one by one, and connect yourselves in a group in a line. And bid you to start following Hibby into the wood.
I'll go ahead and get to the front of the line and start tying myself up as an example, just to listen to what they're saying and to kind of make sure that we don't do anything crazy, hopefully.
Smalls is going to follow Maddie, but he's only going to bind about one hand. He'll take the rope, he'll wrap it around one hand and hold on. He's going to maintain one hand outside of that.
Oh, yeah, smart.
Xena walks up behind Smalls and just ties her hands. Says, "Come on, Athena."
Can I tie my hands to the rope and to the Marine?
What's that?
Can I tie my hands to the rope and to the Marine?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They don't let you anywhere near their prisoner.
Got my eyes. Okay.
They also take all the children away from all of you as well. They are definitely keeping a berth between you guys and their prisoners and the people that they have taken from you.
Morb isn't going to bind his hands. He's just going to hold on to the rope.
Kind of like shove it through your gut and just like let it go through the other side.
Yeah, kind of.
That's how I pictured it.
I'm going to take the rope. I'm going to go at the end of the line for where we're tying ropes, so I can tie off the end to Lucky's collar.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have Pump on my shoulder, and then I will also just tie one hand to the rope, so I can at least seemingly hold up Pump with the other hand.
Okay. So I'm assuming everybody is complying with the tie-up request in some point, in some way or another.
Yes.
Okay. You all are led one by one in this straight line as you all begin making this long chain of folks. Several of the other guards also break off to the side. They're doing a lot of something similar, but they are kind of running parallel to you. You know, basically it's three large groups. A group of guards on the left side of you, a group of guards on the right side of you. One has the prisoner, one has the children. Hippie and Sloth are definitely leading out in the front. But you all begin making your way. You're first crossing the adjacent river. Monroe, this is the same one that you saw in your vision. And as you guys get closer to it, your group begins to take notice that not only did Sloth and his rampage destroy several watchtowers along the main highway, he destroyed several of them here along the river's edge, as well as a naval boat. Some kind of riverboat that's been demolished. Both Morb and Monroe. You guys recognize this vessel as a Scorpion. It's a smaller rower paddle, man-powered paddle vessel that has a massive trebuchet on the back of it. A dozen or so Marines. It's the same carnage that you guys saw on the highway. Sloth and the rest of this group were busy before you guys even showed up. For several hours, you guys are led in binds through the endless acre wood, deeper and deeper. Your line-led journey through this thicker and deeper gloom and into the dark. Many of you lose semblance of time, as hours feel like minutes, and then minutes can feel like hours. The terrain shifts, and there's this strange shifting to the light that gives way that feels like it's both evening and morning simultaneously. You have no real bearing on time. The longer the day drags on, though, many of you begin to realize that the binds on your hands, around your waist, or wherever they aren't so much to restrain you, as she'd explained. No, it's maybe, just maybe, this is to keep you with the group, just as Hippie said, as she leads you through this shifting maze of nature. the trees seem to part ways a little bit out of her direction. And those of you paying attention, or those of you skilled in this, I would say like Drew especially, you notice that there are dozens upon dozens of these little bitty groups, these little bitty forest elementals that are clearing the path. The roots are being pulled back, trees are shifting ever so slightly, just enough to those paying attention can see, kind of clearing the way. Just about midday or so, you feel like it's like some of you feel like you've been walking for an entire day. Some of you feel like you've been walking for an hour. But you take about everybody stops. There's a small clearing. Hippie has everybody circle up and orders. Barks a few orders, but it seems like she's ordering everybody to kind of take a bit of a break, grab some water, adjust your boots, whatever you need to do. It seems like you got about 15 minutes or so. If you guys need to do anything, cast some spells, situate yourselves. Maybe talk to somebody. You all do notice that just before you left and got into the woods too, Ingus has been relieved of the rigorous state that he was in. Whatever spell was cast on him has been brought down, but his weapons have been taken. He's been gagged, he's been bound, he's been tied, and he's being led very much so tied up and surrounded by guards. And he is kept as well with the Marine on the left side. You guys got about 15 minutes. If there's anything anybody wanted to say or do, while you guys take a quick break in this clearing.
Can I do like an investigation on like the kids that were taken? Like anything around that?
Sure. Roll me investigation. Investigation or perception is going to tell you different. You need to roll one or the other to kind of give you different information.
12 on perception. Pretty awful.
12 on perception. Like I said, they're all about 10 years of age. They're various races. Nothing particularly sticks out as unique about them in that sense. But 12, you do notice that these kids are haggard. Their clothes are ragged, torn. They look like they're starving in a sense.
I'll go over to Smalls because I can see how pissed off he is to kind of make sure he stays calm.
I'm gonna DM you real quick.
Can I roll investigation to see if I could see any type of slave marking on them, Marshall?
Here in a second, let's resolve. You said you want to go over and talk to Smalls? Maddie?
No, I just want to go over to him to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid because I know he's
Okay.
super pissed. I know he's super pissed.
Gotcha. Misunderstood.
Just calming him down.
Small
More.
notices Maddie come near him, and his eyes are locked on Ingus.
Okay.
He is noticing everything around him, like within his periphery, but his eyes like trying to burn holes through Ingus, non-blinking.
More, you said you want to investigate for some kind of slave marking?
Yeah.
Okay. Investigation or perception, same deal.
Investigation.
Okay. From a bit of a distance here, but go for it.
Yeah. That's really bad. Let me see. I think it's a +4 to investigation. Where is it? Come on. Yeah, so I got an 8.
8? Nah, pretty hard to tell from here. You get the kind of the same thing. Pretty haggard, rough, starving.
Mm-hmm.
From what you know of starving humanoids.
So as Xena looks out over the children, can she get somebody's attention and say that these children need food?
Oh, they're
And
giving.
water.
Or you're seeing them give them food.
Oh, good.
In fact, you all noticed that when they pulled the children out, they also pulled out large. If you remember what Ingus was loading up and something in the back of the wagon when you all first started out, there were large bags of food, or skins and stuff like that were loaded up in the back.
Okay.
So they've all been given free reign of everything that they pulled out of the wagon.
Marshall, can Drum roll history to see if he remembers anything about this area that could indicate, or in particular indicate why children would be back there? He has a good assumption of why we're all being tied together, but why children would be back there, or why these people would have an interest of the children back there.
Sure. Roll me history.
Alright. Not gonna go well, but
Never know.
oh, it's a 2.
2?
I'm rolling at disadvantage, so yeah.
No, on a 2, yeah, it's nothing is really coming to your mind as to like what the deal is. It's like you really didn't spend the time that you did spend in Sylvan wasn't exactly learning the local customs and history, so not a lot's coming back to you.
Hey, Marshall.
Yeah.
So Smalls is going to break his eyesight on Angus for a moment and just look over at the children. Do there happen to be any young girls over there?
Yes, a couple of them, in fact.
Okay. There's still somebody Smalls is looking for. Can I roll a perception to see if he recognizes any of the children?
Absolutely.
13.
13. You don't recognize any of the children. None of them are Goliath. And then in your memory of everything, it's like you got excited here. You remember that the person you're looking for would actually be a little bit older than these kids by a few years at least.
Okay. Upon recognizing that, he's going to go back to just staring at Angus, just in disbelief, disgust, and anger.
Okay. All right. That's about the 15-minute break. Is there anything anybody else wanted to do before we take off? Get back in it? Yes, Monica, go ahead and just message me here. I can't guarantee I'll get back to you right away, though. All right. Like I said, it only takes about 10-15 minutes. You all gather your things, reposition yourselves, tie the ropes back off to your wrists or through, however you're doing it. And again, you're moving your way deeper and deeper into the woods. It's several more hours or however long you guys can perceive time. It's very hard to tell here, especially in this thick of the wood. But you guys make it in a few more hours in, and you come to a large overturned tree stump, or overturned tree, and it's hollowed out at the center. There's nothing around it except for this huge expanse of endless forest. Hippie walks up to it, takes her spear, kind of like sinks it in ever so slightly, and then pulls it out. And it's almost like she's opening a large door. Think like a hobbit hole door. It's this big circular just kind of pulls out, and it's completely hollowed out inside. And it's a large enough opening that, for the most part, a lot of you can just kind of walk through. Small as you're going to have to crouch down a little bit. Hippie has to do the same thing. Harkin goes in first, and he's kind of crawling on all fours trying to get through here. But you all kind of begin making your way through. You're all gestured through. They take the prisoners through first, or they take the children through first, then they take the prisoners right behind, and then go ahead and start making all of your way through. You, again, traveling through this narrow, hollowed-out fallen tree, each of you ushered through, some of you standing, some having to crawl. Coming through the other side, you step over this rope line immediately. It's almost like this rope extends out around the entire perimeter of this place as you all kind of find your feet at the forest edge here. And you step out to this clear and beautiful sight of a lush green village of makeshift tents, hut-like structures, caravans, all gathered on either side of this gentle creek. Some of you take a second look back through the tree stump and through everything. You're looking at the forest that you were just through, just on the other side of this. But as you step through this tree, you're in something completely different. None of this was visible from the other side. You all notice that these structures also appear kind of semi-permanent. Like so much of this could be uprooted and moved at a moment's notice. Go ahead and share photos. Bear with me all.
Holding.
Okay. The village itself, all of a sudden, as soon as you guys enter this place, you can feel you get the sensation there are several hundred sets of eyes, all looking at your group at once. There are elves here, fairies, Minotaurs, centaurs, shifterkin, rabbit folk, even some gnomes and dwarves, some humans even, a couple of elves, half-elves. It's a weird amalgamation even among Sylvanan folk that make up this community. All of them are wearing this combination of leathers and beaded clothes, hand-woven. Some of them have some mixed-in, matched, like, city attire. Some of the things you saw back in Sylvanan. Most of it's heavily worn out. Some are sporting these various bright color feather arrangements. There's a variety of these body and face paints of many designs and colors. Some of you even take notice of that there's dozens upon dozens of children running around. Many of them all running up as close as possible, enough to get a good wide-eyed look at all of them. But definitely keeping their distance from the soldiers, from these guards and stuff that are kind of keeping them back ever so slightly. Or they know that they're not supposed to get that close. As you're let in, many of you take notice that there's just a ton of free-roaming wildlife in here, too. There's deer, rabbits, all manner of birds. Nothing really appears domesticated, though, by the looks of it. I can share some art, what it looks like. Doesn't take long, but you're all brought across the creek to the far side of this big open circular space with these massive stone monoliths that appear as if they're naturally formed. Is there anybody here that has skill with Arcana or Investigation?
I am with both.
Anybody that has Investigation or Arcana, go ahead and roll me checks.
I have invest with a 12 though.
The 14.
14, 12. Anybody else?
21.
21.
Arcana.
Nice. More. We'll start first. More. What languages do you speak? Everybody, all three of you start looking up your languages and let me know what you all speak.
Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Normish, Undercommon, and Vedalken.
Okay. You don't recognize. You notice that there are several, like the runes and things that are etched here appear to be in multiple languages, but you don't recognize it.
All right, I've got common, deep speech, dwarvish, and uncommon, or undercommon.
Okay. Did you roll an Arcana or Investigation?
I did. I got 13.
13? You recognize one of the languages.
Sweet.
I got common and infernal.
You recognize one of the languages. Monroe,
So-
you're muted.
If we don't have
Investigation or Arcana.
if we don't have proficiency, we can't roll.
Correct.
I would say you're not really looking at it, looking that deeply at it if you don't have those skills.
Okay.
Monroe, you're muted. Did I lose you?
Oh. I got a flask of 20.
All right. Sylvan.
You recognize one of the languages.
I got a flask of 20.
Okay.
It's my native language, and then Thrycreen and Common.
Nope, you don't recognize any of them. So, do you guys just want me to go ahead and say it out loud? Which ones you guys recognize? I mean, don't metagame this, obviously, but you want me to just go ahead and say it?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Argus, you recognize Infernal. Monroe, you recognize Sylvan. Drum, you recognize Deep Speech. All right. The spaces you guys enter, it feels like it has a big meeting space, almost like a kind of a Greek auditorium type thing. There's a lot of like stone uprights on either side. It seems like where people can kind of sit. It seems like it's a gathering place for some place to, for someone to speak to basically the entire village or the entire congregation. There's lots of rocks and overturned trees for places to sit. And sitting in the middle on a tree stump, padded by this massive, like, velvety cushion, is this older-looking woman. Older-looking human woman. Maybe human, maybe half-elf, it's hard to tell. But she's bent over and she's cleaning this, like, 2-foot-long pipe, scraping out the basin, muttering something incoherent. Her garb is very elegant versus the other folks that you're seeing here, but still highly functional. There's a lot of carved gemstones decorating her neckline and her sleeves, these intricate weaves and knotted designs. She also she has this big, like, staff that's kind of, like, propped up on her side as she's kind of leaning on it, using it for a little bit of a support as she's kind of cleaning out the basin on this. Second. Actually, both, as you guys start to approach, both Smalls and Drum, you both recognize this isn't a staff. You guys both take a look at it, and it's kind of cracked off at the top. It looks as if something was broken off. This appears to be the haft, or the long, like, holding, the long part of a spear that's been broken. As all of you approach, though, you all kind of, like, are brought around this large gatherings place, and you're all kind of, like, circled around this older woman. And again, she's not really paying that much attention. She's, like, cleaning out the basin of this pipe. And you're all kind of put into a position. And, like, all of these people, all the people, like, that are, like, in this village, like, they're starting to, like, get into positions, and, like, they're getting into perches and stuff to try and look. And it's very quiet. Sloth kind of wanders off. You can kind of hear his, like, heavy breathing and grunting a little bit, but he's still within distance. Hippie kind of just walks off to the edge. As you all approach, though, the older woman just kind of puts her hand up and everybody gets real quiet. She turns her hands and then motions something, and all of the ropes, everything that was tying you up, immediately drop from your wrists and just hits the ground. No matter how it was tied to you, it immediately just comes to the ground. Is anybody doing anything?
Just staring. Xena's just staring at her. She looks familiar for some reason, but she's just, like, doesn't know. She's confused about everything going on.
Drum is going to look down at Lucky, kneel down real quick, and say, I need you to stay here. This is important.
Monroe, you notice that the Marine is not with you. You also notice that Ingus has been taken away as well.
I was about to ask if I could investigate, but I figured they weren't going to be with us.
Yep. As you guys were all led across the creek, they were taken someplace else. The woman gets up, stretches a little bit. You can hear, like, this massive, like, cracking of bones. Again, this woman is extremely old, and I just posted a picture of what she looks like there in chat. And she wakes up and gets up and says, welcome to the last hearth. Such an interesting and divisive group. And all of you kind of, like, start to take notice of the voice and the cadence here. If it was to shout, this is the voice you all heard shout enough back in the forest. My name is Elder Ingrid. You can all address me as Elder Ingrid. Who speaks for your group?
I'm gonna point at Maddie.
Yeah, Xena, I think my head turns to Maddie.
Drum is also going to look at Maddie.
Same.
Oh.
At this point, Smalls is just going to stand at Maddie's back and back him up, staring straight ahead.
Well, that was easy. And she begins walking over, like, hobbling as best as she can, using the staff as kind of like a support, like a crutch almost. It's, like, almost twice as tall, or not twice as tall, but it's definitely a few feet longer than she is tall. She comes over and she approaches Maddie and goes to like say something, and then stops herself. And Maddie, she gives you this very long, knowing look with a little smile. And she looks left, looks right at all of your companions, and just kind of gives you this little raised eyebrow. It's as if she's asking you a question without saying something. Do you say anything?
You're on mute.
Maddie?
He says
Maddie?
his phone isn't
Oh.
responding. 1 sec.
Okay.
That's been happening to me a lot too when I'm in the group chat. It like freezes and I have to drop out of the chat, out of the session, and then join back up. But when you're in the like little chat text, it like freezes.
Interesting. Session.
Hey, can you hear me?
There we go.
And
Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
Yep, we
Yes.
can hear you, dude.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. One more time.
You're good. She cut the elder walks over to you and she gives you this long, like knowing look, and she has this little smile on her face. She looks left and right at all of your companions, and then she looks back at you and kind of raises this eyebrow. It looks as if she's like asking you a question without actually saying anything.
I guess
Can
I
you say
asked,
anything?
what are you going to do with us?
She doesn't say anything in response, but she performs this like very sarcastic, overly exaggerated curtsy before rolling her eyes and walking away from you. See Harkon Sloth on the edge, and he'll once again spit on the ground and sneer at you. Smalls.
Yes.
She walks up to you. Oh, such rage. Such strength. Just like the little lion.
Smalls is just going to stand there, not respond. He's seething over the fact that Angus was transporting children against their will, at least through perception. That's what it seems.
Hmm.
He's furious.
Do you ask anything about the little lion?
No, he just literally is standing there seething mad over the fact that he was unknowingly transporting children against their will. Like the fact that the energy, like there's almost like a static electricity. He has an inner rage, but there's almost a static electricity around him. He's so mad at Angus right now.
She was much the same years ago. Anyways.
Who?
The little lion.
What little lion?
The little lion. Goliath girl. Angry. Eyes like yours.
Smalls, his anger breaks just instantly. Every part of interest is in what the elder just said. Please, tell me more about this little lion.
There it is. Calm down and take a look at your surroundings. Does you good to ask questions rather than just swing that axe of yours around, doesn't it? She
This
looked
is
like
not
you.
this is very factual. I am merely enraged that we were unknowingly being forced to transport children against their will. I apologize if my rage blind me, but please tell me more about this little lion.
Oh, wouldn't go so far as to say they were being transported against their will, but, perception's half the battle. Oh, Little Lion. Yes, yes, yes. She was with us. Oh, goodness, yeah. A few seasons ago. Oh, it'll be more than that now. Hard to remember. She was with us. She stayed with us for a while. She trained with us. And she. Who's to say where she is now? But I will say this: I pity whoever gets in her way, wherever she was headed. And she kind of just continues hobbling away from him.
Please, Elder, wait. Do you have any idea where she might have gone? This sounds like someone I have been looking for.
Well, I know she's no longer in the Endless Acre Wood, and I can tell you she's probably in right now. If I had to guess, she probably hope. She kept talking about that. Said something about a brother, too, if I remember correctly. Not sure. It's been a while. Old years, you know.
Well, this sounds like the young girl that I've been looking for. Thank you for sharing what you have.
No problem. Try to calm down once in a while. You might learn something. She continues walking on. Drum. She gets to you. She stops for a moment. Ah, fancy seeing you here.
Drum is. Ooh, what am I going to do here? Drum is going to. Can I roll a history to see if I remember her?
Absolutely.
All right. Just rolling at disadvantage sucks, especially when I have negative numbers to start with. It looks like 11.
11?
Yeah.
You've never seen this woman before in your life. On your
Which-
passive perception, on a passive perception, you also notice that she's talking to you.
Perfect. I'm gonna casually say, which one of us are you talking to?
Oh, you. Oh, no. Not you. Not you. Oh. And we call Harkin a glutton. Then all of a sudden, this like uproarious laughter from everybody around starts laughing, and they're all seemingly laughing at you.
Noted.
Ah, yes. You gather at a feast of scavengers, my savage friend. Don't you smell it? Your blood? Your own blood on mottled wings from above? Or perhaps it's savored by the vermin crawling at your feet. Or on your back. Careful not to become the very meal you willingly prepare.
Drum's gonna slowly nod.
She continues down the line. Melon.
Here.
She comes to you, and do you have your hood up or anything, or are you just in plain view?
I feel like once we got in there, I would be in plain view.
Oh, look, everyone. Another one. Are you lost too, little seeker?
I seem to be finding going.
Hmm?
What do you mean another one?
Another one? What else would I mean by it?
You saw
You
another one
are
like me?
another one. Pretty sure. I mean, they didn't look exactly like you, but far be it for me to say you all look alike.
Appreciated.
Are you another seeker?
It seems so.
What are you seeking?
A home.
Oh,
The truth?
but you have one. You came from one, didn't you?
A house. Not a home.
What an interesting distinction. The others didn't have quite the distinction. They just wanted to be away. Several of your kind passed through some time ago, seeking refuge and safe passage north.
They went north.
Pretty sure. We led them, we left them, such is their wish. They did ask a favor of us, though.
What was that?
Something about an oath. They bid those that follow if they too sought abolition over ascension. What is it that you seek, little speaker? Little named one? Brave Malin, the honey-tongued.
What did you call?
What? Who?
Honeyton?
Something about an oath. I don't remember. Just. Was there an oath? I don't know.
The oath that was given to me, yes.
What was it?
One moment, please.
I'll ask you this instead.
Okay.
Do you still believe it? Do you seek ascension? Or do you seek abolition?
I do not think ascension is my goal.
Interesting. She makes a motion, and somebody comes over and brings over this wrapped, this large, like, hide and cloth wrapped thing, and hands it to you. Do you take it?
Yes.
It's got some heft to it. They said to give that to the people who answered the question correctly. They said there would be more, but they only gave me one, which was odd. Who knows? And she just continues down the line.
I'm gonna look at Maddie and then like put it away.
As best as you can. This thing's about as tall as you are, as long as you are tall, just about.
Okay.
It's got some weight to it.
I'm just gonna
So,
hold on
you
to
hang-
it and just stare at
you hang-
Maddie and be like, what's going on?
You hang on to that. Continues down the line. Morb.
Yeah.
She gets to you. She kind of looks you over. She gets real close to you and is kind of like observing you. Look, it almost looks like she's like trying to look inside of you, like down through your armor and stuff.
I get that.
She kind of like pokes you a little bit, and she kind of like do this little ripple thing. And then her demeanor changes real quick. You should try adding honey. Everything goes down smoother with a little sweetness. Flies and vinegar, you know. That old chestnut.
Add honey to what?
What? Oh, you should really let him out of that jar. You know? Would you do it? It's probably positively stifling in there, I bet, too.
Oh,
And she begins walking away from you.
I'm gonna sit there, jar, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pull out the jar with that worm thing I created.
So, Argus, you there? Wales?
Not muted.
Wales.
Is this mic muted?
His mic isn't muted. Let's send him a message real quick and see if that works.
Back. Wardrobe.
Present.
She comes to you, like, stops for a moment. Oh, look! Another one! Another little painted child of chaos. Oh, this one's born beyond the wild. Not sure how you got on this, a mere youngling.
I traveled with friends, if that's what you mean.
Oh, how fortunate. But no, you didn't travel with friends. That's not how you got here. No. But now that you're here, well, enjoy the ride. Try
You're
not to
cutting
drown.
out, handsome.
Oh, God damn it. Y'all hear me?
I was hearing you fine.
But now that you're here, may as well enjoy the ride. Try not to drown. Hmm?
Okay.
And she continues further down the line. Wales, you with us?
Yeah, no, I zoned out. That's my bad. It was a long day at work this morning. I made the mistake of sitting and got too comfy. What did I miss in like the past 2 minutes?
A lot, but we'll get to that. Anyways, Elder's working her way down the line. She's talking to each of you, introducing herself and getting to know some of you. She gets to you. She looks you right in the eyes. Welcome, sister.
You're just gonna hear like a hum come out of him.
She moves her hand up in the air, and a couple of people come over, and they come like kind of like take you by the shoulder, and they begin to like kind of pull you away. Does anybody do anything?
How are they pulling him away?
Seems gently. Just kind of leading him away.
If it's gently, I'm not going to do anything. But if they're like forcibly pulling him away, I would have done something. But
Since I was up next, like, Elder, do we intervene? Like, hold on. Is our friend gonna be okay?
Not a
Xena.
word of oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Xena's going to say Argus. Do you want to go? What are you doing?
I do not feel like this is a place where we should cause too much of a ruckus at the moment.
Okay.
Barely a word of protest. How interesting. And Argus, you're led away from the group. We'll circle back to that in a minute. Drew.
Yep.
She'll come to you and looks you over. That takes a second. And that soft smile that she had on her face when she was talking to Argus immediately disappears. She neither says nor offers anything to you and continues walking on. Xena.
Yes.
She gets to you.
Kind of nod my head and do a tiny curtsy.
Welcome home, Wanderer.
Excuse me?
Welcome home. I'm welcoming you home. You know, being hospitable.
You're. Have I. Can I do an insight or something to see if I've been here before?
Sure. Roll me history.
All right. 13.
13. She kind of steps up to you and she grabs the braids that you have on your hair, the same braids that you do every morning.
Mhm.
And then she kind of like lets go and then pulls the braids off to the side of her face. It's exactly the same.
Mm.
Do you not remember anything,
Um.
Wanderer?
I had a dream. I did remember a little bit. I don't have a lot to look back on, but I did have a vision, and I did remember, and I remember the braids. I remember a little bit, but please, can you enlighten me just a little bit? It's been so long.
Sure. Why not? And she immediately just kind of like smacks you on your forehead. And in a big white flash, you kind of like throw your head back and things start coming back to you. Everything. Down from the way that you braid your hair, once being a druid, your worship of Danu. These are all wildling traditions. You've been here before. This was your home for a while. And all of those visions, everything starts flooding back to you. The night of that attack, loss of your family, your friends, everything. You're caught in a vision back when you were in the ground surrounded by the flames and you're looking out over the carnage of everybody dying around you. And you remember a fight taking place in front of you. It was this woman, this old, feeble woman, moving with the ferocity of somebody a fraction of her age. And you recall a fire-haired, beautiful warrior among the skull-faced knights. Her arrows slew dozens. You recall watching this fight between the elder and this woman. And you see Ingrid's weapon, the spear that she once carried, severed at the head, before Ingrid is pulled away by other survivors, just as you were rescued moments before death. One of your last visions before you snap back is that woman, that red-haired woman with the bow, claiming the tip of the broken spear, strapping it to her hip like a trophy, before knocking another arrow. Boom. You snap back. You're a survivor of the Night of Tears. Do you remember now?
I do. I do. I remember.
Memory starts flooding back. The festival that you were at, that you took your children to, that was a festival of the Leofol. The yearly gathering of all the wildling tribes that celebrated marriages between the members of different tribes. A sharing of bloodlines was the translation. You recall this and you remember it as like a sort of mutually agreed upon arranged marriages, but not something for profit or alliance, but it was to ensure that members of the tribes had a partner that matched both what they wanted in a partner and what their tribes need. It wasn't a perfect system, but it was traditional, pragmatic. In fact, you and Liam were married in that same festival decades prior. All the memories start flooding back, and you remember that it was actually this woman who presided over your wedding. All those years ago. And yes, she always looked this old.
It's you. I remember now. I have forgotten so much. But I remember now. I remember all about you. I remember my family. I remember the tears. I remember the joy and the loss and wandering. I remember the wandering.
Well, I'd say it's about time. Perhaps that'll make what you need to decide next a lot easier. Or harder. I don't know. We'll see. And she just kind of wanders back.
Wait, what's next?
She doesn't stop. She just wanders. She goes back to her sitting spot in the middle. Did I get through everybody? I don't think I missed anyone. She goes and takes her spot back at the center. And then she beckons for another person attendant to come over, and she whispers something in their ear. And the attendant comes over and beckons to all of you, please come this way. And you're all taken away from the center space, the speaking area. Everybody starts to kind of disperse a little bit. And you're all taken to a large hut on the western bank of the creek. There's no guards, nothing really keeping you here, but you're given, the attendant explains that this is a place for you to rest, put your feet up. You have free reign of the last hearth, which is the name of the settlement. But the attendant bids you do not cross the rope line that you all crossed when coming here. But this is a place for you to rest. And then we're going to take our quick break.
Damn, Xena.
What?
What?
Yeah.
So much
Jesus.
Yoda speak.
This is
Someone's old
Yeah.
as hell.
right. She is. Yeah.
When do we need to be back by?
It's like 10 minutes. Let's take a 10-minute break. So 7:37 my time. So it'd be
Got it.
7:47 my time. So 10 minutes from now.
Perfect.
We're on the same time schedule for now until fall hits.
Okay. Well, it's like I got Maddie,
Except
and,
for-
you know, or not Maddie, but I got Smalls in different area too. So
I think Mark
Oh,
is
wait.
the one ahead of us now, right?
yeah, Mark's the only one ahead of us, I think,
Yeah,
right now.
hell yeah.
So try to give him a bit of a heads up.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Who's on
Brit-
right now? Is that Mark or is it Connor?
I believe
It's
Connor's
Connor.
listening in.
It's Connor.
Hey, buddy.
Connor's hanging
how you
out.
doing,
Hi,
man?
Connor.
Hi.
You better roll some nat 20s for me, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see what we
Right.
can do this. We'll see what we can do after you get school started, okay?
Yeah.
Hells yeah. Man, I feel like Hippie's about to kill all of us. I'm not sure. We'll see here soon.
hmm
Well, we found her.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that was the
Well,
goal, right?
Actually,
So,
I think
yeah.
she found
accomplished.
y'all. I think it's the other way around here.
No, it counts. Okay, Chiron, you'd relax.
No, Chiron
Yeah,
probably
you're
would
a
have been
bad
speared
uncle,
on sight,
Chiron.
judging on how this interaction is going.
Mhm. All right.
Y'all,
Break time.
it's like, y'all have control of this situation. What are you
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
doing?
Maddie and Drum are gonna have to kiss and make up. I think.
Boo, drum, boo.
Drew's cheering us on. Don't worry.
Can someone help me get to the marine?
No.
Why not?
we still got another half a session to go. We'll see what happens.
Because I don't even know where I'm at.
I know.
So I personally cannot help you, ma'am.
I
Nope.
feel like you're gonna call in your favor, and I am suddenly gonna be more hated by the group.
You're hated. I'm the one that's like on thin ice with like I think everybody.
Nah,
Didn't
cool.
like
Both
Drew
of you
betray
guys
us all
must be-
too?
Yeah, there was the whole Slevin incident with Drew.
I don't know anything about that, so it's fine.
There's a lot of hate in this group.
There's a lot of animosity going on.
It's a love-hate situationship, okay?
Someone eventually has to tell me what's going on. Someone's got to do that.
Nah.
Drum has been checked out for so long. It's fantastic.
I should probably get up and move out of my chair so I don't zone back out so hard I think I die. I was listening and there was sound and then everything all of a sudden went quiet and I opened my eyes to see messages and I'm like, oh, did I actually zone out that hard? Apparently I did.
I think you did fall asleep, Wells.
It's a high
How?
probability.
Listen, how dare you guys say that that was Drew's fault? I've already forgiven him.
They
Whoa.
have. The rest of us haven't.
Who said that? Who said it?
Who said that they are forgiven? Hold on.
Hey, hear me out. Drew's good in my book because they got me out of that house.
Drew and I have a common enemy.
Dude, Argus has like fired like 5 people here.
Hey,
Drew just
The
last
confuses
time I
the
was
crap out of
blind.
Morb.
Drew, what?
Confuses the crap out of Morb.
Well, that's pretty fair. I can't blame him because
I mean, you could.
I could, but it's not going to do anything. The enemy is Slevin.
Drum
If you ask
totally.
Marshall, he's just being a nice guy. He's such
No,
a kind person.
Nah, dude, I hate Evan. He's the worst.
Evan.
What did I
We
do?
should just start calling him Evan.
Oh, Evan. Not.
Mhm. We're just gonna say his name wrong every single time.
I'll just call him 7.
Steven. You should put honey in it. Me. Oh, I have some.
That's why he asked if I still had that creature thing that I created.
Mm.
I don't even remember that happening.
It was after we dealt with the bugs.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that was the episode that the recording failed and I wasn't there.
Well,
No, that was the
happened there.
episode where you literally pulled me out of the ground.
Yeah.
yeah, you were
Oh,
there.
You were
Remember
absent.
how I collected some of the black powder
Oh,
mixed
right,
with some
right,
of the
right.
slime, and then
Yep,
I was doing experiments on it, and I added water, and it came alive.
Right. I remember now.
And now I've had it in a jar. Since then,
Appreciated that.
there was a time I thought about adding it into a bottle of whiskey, but I never did it. Good thing I didn't.
So curious what happens next.
What will he do next? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Drum's gonna get shot because Monroe's gonna be like, "Help me," and he's gonna be like, "Okay."
And then Monroe asks more for help. Help yourself.
You know, maybe if somebody communicated to somebody else that they've been working with this whole time, you might have more help than just you.
True.
Just a
I
thought.
feel like everyone has their secrets at this point. So
Yeah, but you literally have made a pact with me. And if you're like, hey, can you help me help them? I'll be like, fine. And then I'll look at Maddie and be like, hey, I really don't want to, but we're going to go help this guy.
the whole team being roped in.
Maddie's pretty simple. Yeah, he's in.
That's
Be like, you want to
fantastic.
help me
That's
help them?
my line.
I appreciate this. We don't like
Boo,
this
drum,
person.
boo.
We don't like this person, and we also don't like this person, but they need help. And because you said
You're helping them. I have
we
to
are all
help
helping.
them now.
I'll fucking
And
kill him. Let's
because
go.
I'm helping you help them, he's gonna help me help you help them.
Great. It's gonna be a party of animosity.
And with that, probably we can get Drew in there.
Just so much passion, just so much passion in there, man.
You guys are gonna kiss.
No. We need to take all of this animosity and hate and direct it in the right direction.
Drum's just sad that Drew misses all the cool stuff that happens because he's always gone.
Causing trouble.
Well, no, there was like that time we had that arena fight. That Smalls and Maddie did really well, and then I kind of didn't. Yeah, Drew missed all of that.
Yeah, he did pretty awful.
I did fantastic, sir. I made a choice. Made a very I'm gonna say a very wise choice.
I liked when you kicked Sloth in the balls. Like, that was a good decision. Whoever did that.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. That was a great idea.
Oh, it's
Had to put
fantastic.
that in. Had to put that in.
So when he asked me to play as Drum for that, I was like, "Yeah, I'll kick him in the balls for you."
Shut up.
I did.
100% she did.
Oh, that's great. It's like
That's
Matt, I kick him in the balls.
I told him I was gonna.
Everybody back?
Yeah,
I think
I'm
so.
pretty
Yeah.
sure we're all good.
I haven't heard Allie.
Yeah.
Connor's here. Cool. Allie, are you here?
I think Allie's the only one we need.
Okay. All right. Yes. Just a second.
So Dustin said he just went past Kingman. So
Nice.
I keep hearing voices. And then I
Sorry,
realized
I'm typing something here.
no, I realized there's someone right outside the window. I mean, a little ways over, but it's like they have a booming voice. It was like,
Oh,
who's talking?
probably somebody walking their dog or something. Okay, Allie, are you back?
Allie, Oxenfree.
I've lost Allie.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
We're going to get started back up here. All right. As I said, all of the group is led, except for Argus, is led to a large hut on the western banks of the
Allie
creek.
isn't back yet.
I know. I messaged her. I'm not sure what she might be caught up doing something, but I don't want to. We need more. We need all the time we can get. So I'll start with a couple other things. So you're all welcome to this hut on the western bank, and the group is led to a. Like I said, you guys are told you have free reign of the last hearth. This settlement that you guys are now in. You're not prisoners. You're allowed to keep your weapons, but you will be watched. They did bid you not to cross the rope line that leads out into the endless acre wood. They have no plans of going and getting you if you leave the safety of the settlement. But with that, we're going to shift back over to Argus real quick. Argus, you there?
Yes. I am here and alive.
You're led by these two folks, not forcefully, they're just kind of like walking you along. And in fact, they kind of like move a few people out of the way. They're actually just like kind of beckoning you to follow them. You're moving your way through kind of a more densely populated area. It almost seems like this is where a bulk of folks kind of live down here on the forest floor. And as you make your way through, you're led to a large and impressive kitchen. It has just dozens of these little fires going. There's almost like these makeshift like stone burners and things like that, like hot plates. You can just see lined with these spice racks. There's fresh vegetables, like these marbled and salted meats, just all begging for a skilled hand to prepare them. And these two kind of just tell you have free reign of this place. You get the feeling that there's enough here, you could probably feed everybody in this village if you wanted to do something. But they're giving you free reign of this kitchen. However, whomever the elder recognized you for, she also recognized you as this. What do you do with it?
I'm going to fall back on my background here and use the basic of oh goddamn, what is something renowned where you just perform your basic skill set in exchange for place to sleep and shit. What is it?
Okay.
I'm trying to remember like the exact wording it gives you.
Yeah, it's your background feature. So you want to cook for the village basically as kind of a payment.
Pretty much. Yep.
Can
I'm
give him
going
the
to
help action
reduce
on it?
as much hostility as I can. I'd like to not be sick.
Argus is the only one here right now, but he has so much in front of him, though, I'm going to let you roll with advantage. So go ahead and make me a performance check with advantage for your cooking.
21.
21. You just go to work. You are in your element. You haven't been you feel like you haven't seen a prep station like this or a kitchen like this in who knows how long. At least not in a place that's been, what you could almost feel is more amenable than several of the places that you can remember being in the past. And immediately as you go to work and you're moving through, you're in your element, all of a sudden all the burners come alive and there's these little bitty fire elementals, little bitty living mischievous fires that pop up and are chittering and chattering amongst themselves and moving between the burners. And they're almost in sync and in tune with your movements on a 21. As you just immediately start pulling down meats and chopping vegetables, playing with the spices. You have your spice pouch on your side. You're adding your own things to it. You have pans and woks and burners and just all of these things going once. On a 21, you pull out your pan, the one that you used prior, the one to take out do the final blow on Sloth in that fight, and you start to throw some oil in there. You start to do a good sear on this pan, and all of a sudden, the face inside, you realize that, oh shit! In your excitement, you realize I just used this thing as a weapon not too long ago. I forgot to clean it, and then you haven't had an opportunity to do so. And as soon as the pan hits the open flame of this fire elemental, they immediately burst into these massive flames as the blood and everything from Sloth erupts across this pan, and his face is permanently forged into your pan. But as you lift it up off of the fire also seems to move at your own will, at your own command. You retract it back into your arm, retract it back out, the flame is still there, but it doesn't burn. It doesn't bother you. Whatever happened here, this has awakened something in your weapon. And you can go ahead and look up something in the inventory called the Perfect Sear and add it to your inventory.
Noted.
With 21, though, you spend hours in there just prepping food, and you start sending out bowls upon bowls of all this thing. People are coming around, grabbing a meal, taking it to their families. The entire settlement is abuzz with the fact of this automaton, this hellish, flaming automaton, this strange thing that many of them, most of them, have never seen before, is making the most delicious and magnificent meal that most of them have had in a willingly, fully.
And this will be replacing the other worm.
Your regular
right?
pan.
Noted.
Your regular pan, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, we're going to switch back over to the rest of the main group. Is there anything? What's everybody want to do? You're all kind of in the hut. You have free reign of the last hearth. What do you guys want to do?
Well, Xena wants to walk around and try and just walk around and reacquaint herself with this place because the memories she has.
Absolutely. You go walking around, and it's just like you remembered in your memory. People are friendly, welcoming. They notice your braids. They notice your clothes. There's just something else about you, too. A couple children run up to you. Friendly. This is the friendliest place you've been in a long time. Even more so, it feels like more connected to it than even when you were in Roost.
And when the children run up, Xena kneels down and looks them in the face and just gives them a huge, huge smile and is filled with so much joy, and she just hugs them.
You also notice that some of the children that were taken from the wagon are running around as well, already making friends with the other children.
And so Xena walks over because she recognized the tattered clothing and stuff, and just walks over and kneels down in front of them and just almost starts crying and caresses one of their faces and says, "I am so sorry. I had no idea, no idea. And I'm glad you're safe now."
They kind of reel back at your touch.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was too forward of me. I'm sorry. I know you've been through a lot. But please know I will never, ever, ever hurt you.
Kids kind of gather up the rest of them, and they kind of just run off. A few of the kids look back, and they don't really say anything to you, but they run off. Moves like you do. Wales, you good?
Yeah, my internet's decided to reset itself, so it's coming around.
Mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Will do.
I
Okay.
The handle, I guess you could say, the hilt of this thing, where you would grab it and hold the blade on top and bottom, just in the center there, the waxy haft. Remember, this thing is made from your homeland. There's no metal or anything like that that's from where the lands that you're in now. No, this is all made from chitinous and these substances made from your hive and pulled from your people. At the center there's a small opening, and inside is a small wriggling worm. Just kind of laying in wait. It notices you, or you notice it.
Uh-huh.
It's just kind of sitting there.
Can I try to get it out of there?
Sure. You willingly try and pull it out?
Yeah.
You go to put your hands down. It pokes its head out, so to speak, for just a couple of seconds, and then it becomes inching itself out, inching and crawling up your finger, inching, like a caterpillar or an earthworm or however it would move. And it's kind of going up your arm, and it's going up your shoulder. Do you do anything?
It's go in my ear.
Do you do anything?
No.
And it slides into the open cavity on the side of your head that could be described as your eardrum.
I do it. Uh-huh.
And it slides itself in, and it nestles inside of there. It feels so odd. It's just like having something crawl inside of your ear. That sensation. It just waits. and then it finds itself, and it digs itself deeper. It hurts, and it becomes very uncomfortable. It almost feels like it's crawling through your eardrum, inside of your carapace, and it kind of nestles in the back of your eye before centering somewhere into your skull.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna like look around and see if Drew can see me anywhere.
Yeah. He's been moping. Drew's miserable, so he's not fully paying attention to you.
Okay, so this is just to you. I'm gonna go. I think something just crawled into my ear and is now in my brain.
Okay, is that how are we feeling about it?
Kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie. How does throwing up work when you have a regular throat?
Right, do you want to throw up, or do you feel like you're gonna throw up?
I feel like I'm gonna.
You just open your mouth and you what? It's fairly straightforward.
Is it? Oh, okay, because that hurt so bad it made me want to throw up. Okay. Are you okay? Bleh.
No.
Wait. You want to come over here and talk about it? I'm gonna pull out my honey and like just eat a little bit and then be like, okay, let's go. Do you want some honey? It's store bought, not melon made.
That's so
I
funny.
feel like I need to make like distinction.
Hey, Monroe.
Yes.
Are you still with the group?
I was actually gonna approach Drum and ask if he can do me a favor that he owes me
Okay.
and join me and try and find or investigate the Marine and figure out what in the world is going on.
Okay. Drum is casually playing with Lucky and Bumperum. He's gonna look at you and say, "Are you sure this is where you want to use your favor? Because this is not going to look great on us."
I am gonna clue you in on something, Drum, that I haven't gotten to clue anybody in lately, and I think you're the best type to clue this in about. So, I had a vision while all this battle was happening because Lothman, Heron, Harkin, whatever we heard about his name, was pretty brutal on all of us. And the voice called to me and called me a champion and clued me in on 4 possible choices. And then when I did that weird command thing, I needed to know and you can roll a perception if you want, or I could tell you how Morn is looking right now while I'm telling you all this.
All right, hold on. Let me roll a perception because it's funnier that way. All right.
Okay,
Well, I
cool.
don't think I'm gonna roll lower than that. Oh, I did roll lower than that. I rolled a 3 and a 2, and I'm at disadvantage. So yeah, I don't even tell me. I don't even know.
To you, this is regular Morn. Okay, cool. So yeah, don't worry about it. So, so Morn's just like, I gotta be this champion. I gotta do it. And I felt the piercing eyes of my target or something. Like I got drawn in, that it wasn't because I saw the towers destroyed. I saw all these marine peoples and everything destroyed along the riverbank. But I saw the centaur working on destroying things, and all I heard was "kill him, my champion," but got confused because he was also holding on to a marine, and then there was a sloth man, and there was his voice, and the marine. I gotta get this marine, man. There's something going on with the marine that I think that's what I'm supposed to kill in order to be. I gotta be a champion, man.
Well, I didn't understand any of that. But if it's your help, or if you need my help, and this is you calling in your favor, I am going to. I don't have a choice. The only thing is, if things get dicey, I don't want us to stay around because
You're
there.
free to leave if it gets dicey. Like, come with me. I want a partner. If it gets dicey, I don't mind if you run back.
I will never run back, and that's probably a problem. But we will investigate, and then probably as a group decide what we need.
Okay. I gotta
Um.
be a champion, man.
All right. Oh, I will do my best to help you become a champion, at least for this one time.
Don't call me that.
Don't call you what?
Don't call me champion. I just need to be a champion. Just don't call me that, okay?
Oh, okay. If you need to be one and don't want to be called one, that's
You
your
don't call me
prerogative.
that. No one calls me
Uh,
that. Only one calls me that. But I'm a champion, so I'll address you as what I am.
sounds like a plan. I'm gonna immediately use message, and it's gonna go to Malin, and I think Monroe's roping me into something crazy, but he seems genuine, so I'm gonna go with him.
Mm. I turn to you out loud and go, "Where are you going?"
Drum is going to shrug, gesture over to Pumperum to come like hop on his shoulder again, and he's gonna shrug and say, "It's part of the plan."
Okay.
I think Morn is about to just enroll investigate while Drum's trying to sort himself out because I'm
Well, if
or
you're
whatever
going,
you need
I'm
me to
going
roll.
too.
All right.
Sorry, I rolled a 2 to keep that inside.
All
I'm gonna be
right.
like, well, if you're going, I'm going too.
Well, looks like we have a solid team then.
Drew's gonna like look at Malin but not say anything and just give her a look like, "Do you want me to come?"
I'm gonna nod.
I'm gonna
He's gonna grind it up.
I'm gonna wave at Drew while he's looking at Malin, and just be like, "Do you want you should come with us? Like you miss a lot of the adventures, and I have so many stories I need to tell you."
I'd love to hear your stories.
Should we also get Maddie? I feel like he'd be upset if we don't include him.
Does Maddie see this going on?
It's not a big hut. It's not a huge hut, guys. It's like
And they're not exactly being quiet with it.
Yeah.
We're not. I tried to be subtle about it, but
And
Yeah,
everyone can roll a perception on how Morn looks right now, because Drum failed, so Drum doesn't know what's going on right now.
Absolutely rolling, and I'm next to Malin for sure. 17.
16. Let me see.
Oh, I got a 9.
I rolled a 16. Let me check what I add.
Yeah,
For
Maddie
perception,
is
right?
with Maddie's with Malin for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you got the first one where.
I also
Oh,
got a
wait,
17.
how much? Okay. So I'll start with the 9 from Drew. So Drew, you would be looking at more and be like, I would say it's me, but you feel like he's a bit distant. A little bit more so, just a little bit. But can't quite feel what's going on. Everyone else though that rolled high enough, Morn's tweaking out. Morn can't stop looking around, almost like where is he? Like frantic, scratching the back of his head a little bit, and like tasseled hair, and just it looks like he has a twitch, and just muttering like champion a little bit, and they're like, don't call me that. Only I want it, but no one else call me that.
Maddie for sure tells Drew that because he's trying to build their friendship.
Yeah, same. We'll be like, yeah, that's not okay. We're definitely going.
Okay.
Plus, if he
All
does
right.
something stupid and Moore finds out, he's probably dead.
Okay. So who's all going?
Me.
Maddie,
Maddie,
Monroe? Maddie?
Valen, Moore,
Alan?
Drew, Drum.
Okay. All right.
So 3 out of 4 M's are going.
Mhm.
This will be fun to keep track of. All right. Now, Monroe, your goal is to find the Marine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You all kind of set out outside of the hut, and again, you're here in front of the great expanse that is the last hearth. You guys are kind of positioned up on top of the hill. You got a clear view of like everything. It's just a massive. It's not a city, man. Small town, maybe village, so to speak. It's more vertical than it is, wide. Things are built up into the trees, and as I said, everything here is kind of a makeshift structure. But you can either roll me investigations or perceptions on trying to determine where exactly you think they might have taken the prisoners.
Oh. Got a 6.
6. Okay. Anybody else?
Said investigation or perception?
Investigation or perception? Yep.
15 with investigation.
What's your passive? Don't you have a higher?
It's a 16.
Okay. 16.
My
Anybody else?
passive investigation is 19.
19. Okay. Anybody else?
I got a
Don't look at me
15
like
for
that.
perception.
Okay.
I got a 7, but I have a passive of 11.
Yeah,
11,
passive
okay.
is 13 for me.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you guys can always choose to use your passives. I believe that's how that works. Either way, you guys kind of take in the lay of the land. Like I said, this isn't a massive area of Maine. So there's no like fortifications in terms of like where soldiers are. No, it's kind of just spread out. But it almost appears like on the opposite side of the bank where you guys are, there's another hut kind of akin to where you are. And there seems to be a larger congregation of guards over on that side. There's 3 huts over there. One on the left, one in the center, one on the right. But there's a larger congregation of guards over there. It seems like they're more kind of stationed, as if they're guarding. You guys head that way?
Seems like it could be that way.
absolutely.
Maddie, what did you roll? Or did you roll?
I did not. Did you say I had to be proficient or no?
No, you can just make a roll this time. It's fine. Because you guys are actively like looking to do it this time.
Gotcha. Perception?
Yeah, perception or investigation, either one.
11.
11?
Yeah.
On 11, Maddie, as you all begin to make your way over across the creek and stuff like that, kind of headed towards that direction. You notice that all of you notice that there's something hidden. There's something here. If there was going to be any place that you guys could see from the obvious, that this is probably where they would have kept their prisoners. There's at least a half dozen guards, 2 per hut, kind of gathered around here. Maddie, you do notice though, because this is on the eastern bank and this is kind of closer to the main entrance to where you guys were. It would also make sense that this is where they took the prisoners away because they did break away from you before you went across the creek to the meeting area. So this kind of seems like this is where they probably would have taken them because you guys weren't really paying attention when they went off. But Maddie, on your 11 perception, you do notice something else just beyond the edge of the settlement. Sloth, Harkin, the great bear, still in his humanoid form, kind of standing next to a tree, and he's looking right at you.
I communicate to the team. I let Monroe know what I see since we're here for Monroe.
Yo, Maddie, you don't have to join us. He looks like he's looking at you.
I want to.
He's looking right at you, Maddie.
Do we need to wait for you? You go off but we'll be here?
Nope. I don't care what he has to say.
Off we go! Warren's fine with the
You guys-
answer.
You guys come to the 3 huts. There's about 2 guards guarding on the other side. You kind of have your choices on the left side, the right side, or the center. On the passive investigation, you notice that there is only a fire. On the investigations and perception you guys rolled before, you notice that there are 2 fires burning. One on the left and one in the center. There's nothing coming from the center. These huts are large, like thatched huts, and there's an opening directly at the center that has like a fire. Like there's a fire pit in your guys' hut that would be burning right in the center, and there's a hole at the opening at the top that would allow the smoke and everything to escape. But there's only 2 fires burning, on the left and in the center. Monroe.
Yes.
There's a bit of a tingle on the back of your neck. There's that same sensation you felt earlier, but it's not exactly pinpointing you on where you want to go, where it's telling you to go. But you definitely feel like you're probably in the right place.
Guys, I feel it. It feels good. We're in the right place.
Yes, I'm with you.
Drum's gonna look
Literally.
curiously at you and just be like, feels like a regular fire, but okay.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do?
Drum's gonna lean over to Drew kind of casually and be like, do you feel anything different here?
I don't know. Do I?
They know more than you felt earlier, I would suppose.
I'm just gonna shake my head at Drum.
I'm gonna look at you and mouth, I'm so sorry.
At me?
Yeah.
Drew's gonna shrug, but he looks absolutely just like deflated. He's so miserable.
I'm gonna hold his hand. And we're gonna go together.
What are you guys doing?
All right, so if this is the place, what are we doing?
What are we
Warren?
doing? Can I touch my neck and see if it's like hum? Because I
It's the
have
same.
no idea what this feeling means, but it feels
No.
good and it feels right.
No, it's there's something in your instinct that's telling you you're in the right place, that you're looking here. But how do you want to try and get in these huts?
Do I need to like channel divinity?
You tell me. How are you going to get in here? There are guards outside of each of these places, so if you're either going to try and go through the guards, or do you want to sneak in, try a distraction?
Are there
Try
like
and get in.
windows?
No, not really in the way of windows. I mean, there's a couple like board areas that are like something you could kind of open up and try to like get in on the sides or let fresh air in. So there's an opening right at the center of each of the huts that allows the smoke from the fire pits out.
I look at Morn and say, I'm here for you. This is your show. I'm here to back you up. So you tell me what to do.
I'm gonna shush Maddie. Like not harshly, just like, and then I'm gonna say, do you guys hear that? And I'm gonna say that relatively loudly. It's like, do you guys hear that loud enough that the guards can hear it? And then I'm gonna use thermatology, and I am in distance. I am going to have it create the sound of children crying, like incredible distress.
Okay,
Ooh.
I like this. Okay, so that's your use of thaumaturgy. This is either going to be a deception or a performance. And if anybody has anything that they want to do to add to this or try to give him the help action, roll at advantage. Let's see what you got.
Me, because I have advantage with performance, and I want to try and also use my tattoo of prestidigitation
Okay.
as a way to use the help action for him.
Okay.
All right. Can I also have Pump fly off in that direction and use Mimicry just to make it sound better?
I would say he hasn't really like heard any children's voices enough to mimic them.
Okay.
But I'll allow him to like make a squawk and like I'll give you a +2 to whatever you roll on your advantage because he'll add a +2 for his squawking, just making a ton of noise.
Sounds good. We're gonna go with what do I have? Performance or deception?
Deception.
I guess either of them work. We will go with deception.
Or if the prestidigitation wouldn't work, I do have an inspiration I can give Drum.
That's a nat 20 for 21.
Oh,
Look at it go! All right, nat 20s in this roleplay episode. On the nat 20, like, is it exactly what you described? Like children in distress, and there's a whole bunch of noise and everything going on.
Yes, children in distress, a whole bunch of noise, like something's going on, and the children are panicking.
Do you like start running that direction to try and like sell it and everything, or who else going to try to do this?
I will rush off in that direction shortly after Pump. To sell it like Pump is leading me to distressed kids.
Okay. Anybody else going?
Yeah, I will.
Alan's going.
like you guys are leading the guards, like, and then I can sneak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All right, cool.
Hey, Drew. Do you also kind of run in that direction?
Yeah.
As you do, you get another sense. You asked if you were feeling something earlier, if you felt like this was right. All of a sudden, there is something in the back of your mind that doesn't. It as you're kind of running and trying to sell this thing with your friends, trying to make it, trying to sell this thing. As you kind of just step slightly back, you look off at something catches your attention to the right hand side, and it's Elder Ingrid, that old woman, and she's looking right at you, and she's standing at this like kind of like stone entrance. It looks like it almost looks like a cairn, like an underground grave or something, perhaps something where somebody would be buried. She's looking right at you, leaning on the staff, and she starts walking into the cairn underneath.
Oh, I'm gonna follow her over there.
Okay.
As you should.
All right. So we have Drum, Malin running with the pump, and that's running towards it, selling out on the cairn. Maddie, are you going with Monroe, or are you following? Who are you going with?
I look at Monroe to see which way he wants me to go.
There's two options.
I'd say it'd be best if I Because I can sneak and then call for you.
Then I'm going with Malin and Drum.
Okay. So go ahead and make me your stealth checks real quick, Warner. I would say with everything like there right now, this gives you advantage because you have a full distraction.
With a nat 20 on the phone. Yo,
Look at
27.
that go! Look at the nat 20s on the
Hey!
roleplay episode.
27?
Damn!
27.
Wow.
I
Damn,
am
that's
determined.
Oh, hell yeah.
You get in there.
You are an absolute ghost. All of a sudden, like you guys begin like as soon as you guys like start moving towards and trying to sell this distraction from Monroe, a couple like just a half a second or so, you look back and he is gone. And a couple of you notice with your passives that he's Monroe, as you run up, you like the guards start moving away. You kind of like almost duck exactly behind them, but you are a ghost right now. And you kind of check the doors, and the doors are locked. But then all of a sudden you remember the smoke coming up from over top. You, in one fell swoop, just like use your mirthful leaps from being a satyr, hop up on the thatched roof of this thing, scamper up, and do this like somersault twisting thing, and just dive through the smoke pit at the center, and you are inside of this hut, uncontested.
Parkour.
Parkour.
Exactly.
All right. As you're inside, though, that sensation on the back of your neck, it takes a minute for your eyes to adjust. There's a small fire, a small ember burning here at the center, but it's very dark. It takes a second for your eyes to adjust, but all of a sudden your ears just, you feel like it feels like you're underwater. It's the sound of rushing water. Except there's no water in here. There's nothing that would be making water. The sound in your ears should almost be deafening at this point. But at the same time, it's not. It should be pure chaos. But to you, it's as gentle as a trickling of a brook. As you move from cover to cover and you flit up from shadow to shadow and you're up on the roof and you dive into this thing, you pull yourself in, dropping in quietly through the center of this hut, avoiding the fire pit, flipping away from the dying embers of the fire itself. As you drop in and your eyes adjust, you are nearly face to face with a gagged man. He is bound and bleeding. In the center hut, you have found the Marine. He's an older human. Salt and pepper goatee. He's got a shaved head. He's beaten to a pulp. But even under all that blood, you notice that there are numerous tattoos on his exposed skin. Under the gag, he is calm and quiet, despite you dropping in just out of nowhere. In his eyes, they almost look relieved. What do you want to do?
What I miss?
I want to. Like, my change in demeanor. Suddenly I'm licking my lips. And I'm skulking towards him. And I just whisper, "Are you burdened?" I thought so.
He's gagged.
Yep.
Do you ungag him?
Yes.
You know, I always knew I'd die at the hands of a drowned. I just didn't know it'd be some fucking Green Guild boy.
Green Guild.
Aye, look at you. Wet behind the ears. You're a drowned. I can feel it. You're the one. Yeah. I mean, look at you. Woo! Look at that mark. And he's looking directly at your chest. I only seen one like that in my years. He touched her. I killed him. I didn't get to take that from her, though. Just another fucking tattoo. And you look over, he looks at the one that's on your wrist, and as you look over him, he's bound and gagged, but his armor's been removed, his shirt's been torn open, he's bald, like I said, his head is shaved. He's covered in tattoos. And even when I killed her, he still wouldn't speak to me. No. Just kept pushing me on. Sink or swim, sink or swim. You felt it, haven't you, boy?
Tell me more about the voice. Was it just as sweet to hear it?
Oh, it's good, isn't it? Feels right, especially when you're out there in the water. Just as sweet as can be. It eggs you on. It pushes you. Promises so much without saying a fucking word. But you feel it. Feel it in your blood. Coursing, it's warm and it's welcoming. It's not like drowning, is it? Your lungs fill with water, your eyes burn with the sea salt. Yet here we are, still breathing.
I crave the taste of salt.
Everyone's got to have goals, kid. Thrust round, well. You felt it. There could be only one. You'll feel
And I
it.
am that one.
Oh, really? I've heard that before.
How many others told you that? Do you have any other names for me?
Look at my body, boy. How many you think told me that? And that's when you get the connection that the tattoos. There's something about the tattoos.
How far does the ocean go?
Endless.
Is it just to kill, or is there a bartering scheme?
All depends on how you please him. Fight your way to the top. Do what he says, do what he asks. There's always rewards. I don't know. I've been at this for years and I've never... You'll find out yourself. It's addictive, you know? Draws us to each other. To kill each other for him. I'll tell you this much. You should find someone special. Don't just go with the waves, boy. Swim against them. Find that someone special. You know, to kill.
I wonder, though, after I kill you, I wonder if there's a way for it to not have to be so much killing all the time. There has to be other acts of service, isn't there?
There is, I never found it, but what do I know? Just an old sailor. You figure it out, boy. I'm no fucking sage. Look.
Well, before your death.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me. Talk to me about how the breeze feels on your face. And then tell me when the blood starts to pour? Does it taste sweet or feel like a summer rain?
I'm no poet, boy. And you're wasting time. These savages are going to boil me in oil if I don't give up what I know about the Bastille anyways. I'm dead either way. May as well be useful. The fortress, Bastille d'Arnaud. You recognize it as the fortress you guys came through where you guys got in the fight pit.
Oh yeah. You guys got pretty beaten up over there.
So I may as well be useful to the waves one last time. And his eyes kind of like motion over to the side of the hut, and as your eyes have adjusted, do you look over?
Yep.
There's some gear stashed on the side. Go ahead. Take it. Doesn't do me any good.
One false move, and I'd rather kill you with grace rather than maiming. And I walk over.
Okay. You take a look at the gear.
Yep.
There's a very it seems to be his gear, perhaps, that was taken from him. Like, they're not afraid to, basically stash his stuff here with him, it seems. Anybody that you get the impression that any prisoners here, that even if they escaped, if they fled into the wood, they're not going to get very far. In this gear, you find a very finely made cutlass. It's simple but elegant. Has gold filigree around the hilt and the handle. Has a large kraken, squid-like thing around the guard. And there's octopus tendrils and gold filigree that stretch down the blade. There's also a set of... It's a chain shirt, light, simple chain shirt, but it's got a seafoam green coloration to it. And there's also a pistol. A simple flintlock pistol.
Were you a captain then?
Something like that. His tone shifts to kind of like mournful, somber.
Was it worth it?
Aye. Not the end I would have picked. It's good enough, I suppose. Do you take the gear?
I do.
On your nat 20 of stealth prior, you're able to kind of flit this stuff away. You tuck the pistol into your belt. You swap the sword onto your side. Tuck the chainmail away. Shove it into your gear in your pack. Chain shirt. He's still sitting there. Bound and tied.
May I honor you then for giving me so much information and use your own blade?
That's a good lad. Kind of twists his head to the side, exposes his neck. Strike two, boy.
I'll wear your tattoo proudly.
There's a good lad.
And I attack.
He's bound. Can't fight back. He's on the brink of death as it is. It doesn't take much. How do you finish him?
I slice him clean from the neck down to the bottom of his ribcage, top right to bottom left. Try and make it as deep, quick, and so that he could feel the salt running through his veins one last time.
As you deliver this final blow, he welcomes it. As I said, he exposes his neck as you cut him neck to stern. He smiles the whole time. And just like before, as the blood pours out of his wound, and he slumps over, you look down at your wrist, at the compass tattoo. And just like before, it changes. Adds the mast of a ship, barnacles, even a small aquatic creature adds to it as it grows on your wrist. It's now covering your entire forearm. You wipe the blood from the blade, return it to its sheath.
Yep.
And we're going to shift. Drew.
Yep.
You said you followed Elder Ingrid down into the cairn, right?
Yeah.
You make your way over. Like I said, everybody in the immediate area is completely, enamored with this commotion of screaming children and this crow or this raven going completely ballistic, and everybody's checking things out and trying to figure things out. As you make your way over to this cairn, it's about 150 yards out. It's not actually too far from the center meeting stones that you guys were at not too long ago. And the stone arch here that leads down these stone steps down to the entrance below, has that same writing that you all were seeing on the cairns in the meeting stone area before. What languages do you speak? I think you speak Sylvan, right?
Yeah.
You recognize one of the languages.
All right.
As Sylvan. And I'll message you later what it says. But you walk down. It's this stone. It is. It almost feels like a grave site. There's places where bodies are entombed. There's skull motifs that are like literally piles of skulls. Like think like the Paris catacombs, where they stack the skulls into the earth and encasing them up and down the walls and pillars and stuff. It's exactly what it is down here. There's several stone benches, seating areas. There's a strange altar at the far end of 3 wooden totems at the front. And at the center is a fire pyre made up of bones lined with skulls. And the flame in the center burns this deep crimson with emerald intertwined. Elder Ingrid is there, twisting her hands over the flame, just waiting, looking at you. Then he flashes back to that memory that you had not too long ago. This is the same cairn you were standing in that memory. One where it said, "The Time Lord wishes us to continue." This is the same space. What do you do?
I'm gonna walk over to her and not say anything quite yet. Just kind of stand next to her by the fire. See if she says something first.
Been a while, little child of Daniel.
Earlier, you helped Xena remember. Could you do that to me?
I think your memory is far beyond my skills, little druid. What exactly do you remember?
Very little, ma'am.
Such is the way of our people, it seems. Everyone seems to forget. The more and more they wipe us out, the more and more they wipe us from history, and the more and more they wipe away our belief. Ah, it's sad. It truly is. You know that armor you're wearing. Not too many have that fashion sense, little druid.
When I bought it, the man I bought it from said that it was a abandoned commission.
Oh. Fates are funny like that. She kind of reaches her hand out, and she kind of like touches like the side of your neck, and then she brings her hand down, and she pulls the armor out just a little bit, the neck plate that is just below where your neck is. She kind of pulls it out. It's got a little elasticity to it, but at the same time, she pulls it out. It's almost like popping a collar. And you notice for the first time since putting this armor on, there's something written on the nape of the neck here. Do you read it?
Mm-hmm.
It says, "For my children." Oh, goodness. Fawn's children always were the weirdest bunch.
Wait, who's
You
children?
haven't. Fawn,
Did-
your father.
Is he still alive?
Goodness. It's a funny thing to ask.
Well,
I would say you know better than I. You have
I
his
don't.
You have his bearing. You know, it's almost uncanny. You have his chin, his nose, his eyes. Well, one of them. I met him once. Long time ago when I was a young girl. Long time ago. He and his children, followers, whatever you want to call them, would come through now and then and on their search. I don't know. I have no idea. I was a kid. By the time I came of age to ask, he'd long since disappeared, and I'd long since stopped caring. Hmm? Well, come now, speak up.
Is there anybody? I mean, do you?
Hmm?
What were we, the children? What were we searching for?
Oh. Well, why don't you ask him?
Ask who?
Well, him. You know, there's plenty of ways to talk to the dead, little druid. You just need to know how to ask. And to ask the right question. She puts her hand back over the crimson flame and it turns blue. And all of a sudden these white, ethereal, smoky essences start pouring from the flames, and all other light in this cairn goes out. And it's just you and the blue flame. You, Elder Ingrid, and the blue flame. Do you wish to ask some questions, little druid?
I've got so many. I don't know where to start.
The magic has its limits. You can only ask a few questions. But there is a sacrifice that must be offered. And he looks at the long sword and the blades at your side. Looks at your hand and your wrist. Everything has a price.
Drew's gonna look at the fire and say, "I'd like to talk to Fawn."
You need to pay the price first.
Okay, I'll do. Yeah, what is it?
Your blood should suffice,
Oh,
little Drew.
okay. Just in the fire.
Sure.
Yeah, Drew will take his knife and he'll just cut along his forearm just a little bit. Put some blood in there.
You take 8 points of slashing damage. As you draw it across your wrist, your wrist to your palm. What do you do?
Kind of up on the forearm, so not on the wrist, a little higher.
Okay. You slice open, and you notice that a surface wound doesn't draw any blood. There's nothing here, so you have to cut a little deeper. And finally, you draw some black, thick, coagulated blood from your forearm. It's just a couple droplets dropped to the flame. The blue flame sizzles. The shadows begin to swirl around, and something begins to take shape. Right now, you're just surrounded in shadow. Ask your first question.
Mm. What do I need to do?
Seek the cauldron. Seek the king. It sounds as if there's dozens of voices all swirling, whispering to you. Do you ask more
What?
questions?
I'm gonna look at the elder and see, like, do I need to give more blood if I want to ask more questions?
Everything has a price, little druid. She's just leaning on her staff, kind of like smiling. You'll need to offer again if you want to ask another question.
Okay, I'm gonna try to like squeeze the wound that I've already made to see if I can get more blood out of it.
No problem. You take another 8 points of damage. There's a few more drops squeezed from your arm. Ask your second question.
Who is the king?
Keeper of Cauldron. Savior of Danu. The form begins to take shape as all the other voices begin to drown out a little bit. It's a bodily form. You can't really quite tell anything more other than it's about your height. 7 feet tall.
Drew's gonna reach out to it.
Nothing to touch. It's just a ethereal, ghostly shape. Do you want to ask it another question?
Yeah.
You'll need to draw blood from your other arm.
Okay.
Do you offer it?
Yeah.
Take another 8 points of damage. Ask your question.
Please, who am I?
Child of Danu. Child of Fawn. Elder Ingrid looks at you. Perhaps you should word your questions more carefully.
I could you? I've
Do you
got.
want to ask? Do you ask another question?
I want to ask her. I want to ask Elder Ingrid like what she means. Like,
The dead can be a little coy. They're not prone to tell you exactly what you want to hear. I'm just saying you should be cautious with your wording. More specific.
it's hard to be specific when you've got nothing.
After the third question, the form begins to take a. It appears like it has long hair. Long brownish hair. And a narrow waist.
I am gonna ask another question. Is that another 8 points of damage
6 this
for
time.
more? 6? Okay. Who were you to me?
Dion! Child of Danu. After the fourth question, feminine features begin to take shape on the face. They're strong, but feminine. You feel the magic beginning to wane a little bit. Get the feeling you may have time for one more question.
I do not know if I have enough hit points for one more question.
Let's roll the dice and find out. Or you can sever it here. I'm ready to roll if you are.
See, Drew's trying to make good choices.
Do it. Roll the dice.
I agree. As a player, I want to know what happens.
Roll them.
Yeah, Drew
Yeah.
needs to make good choices, but
very
everybody
fair.
wants everyone's the other side of the shoulder.
When has that stopped Drew from making a bad decision?
Right.
It's done him decent so far.
You did always say you do anything for your memories.
That's true. I don't know if I have another question to ask though.
I could think of a bunch that I would ask at this point. Did you catch the name?
Yeah, Dion.
Mm-hmm. Just making sure you guys heard me, okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I have another question to ask.
Can I, as a player,
Nope.
give her an inspiration so the DM can send her a question? Send them a question to ask the DM.
Yeah, I'll take your inspiration and I'll offer a hint from Ingrid, maybe. Is that what you want?
Yep. Yeah. Yes. Inspiration.
How peculiar. Maybe you should ask what happened to her, dear.
Okay. I'll ask that.
Let's roll. I rolled a 2.
Thank God.
2 damage. What do you ask?
Wait, what did what did the elder say? What ask what happened to her?
Yeah. Is that what you ask?
Yeah.
The figure seems to take a little bit more form and shape. As it leans in closer to you, it's almost as if it's standing right next to you, or right in front of you. And it speaks again. And it says, "Betrayed by
What did it
weakness. Betrayed by weakness. By hunger." And all of a sudden, the figure takes shape again, and it is a magnificent set of blue eyes.
are those eyes familiar to me?
Very. Make a
Okay.
dexterity saving. Make a dexterity saving throw with disadvantage.
Sorry, Marshall. I heard thighs, not eyes, so I was really confused for a second.
Cool.
The eyes of the Videlkin.
It's a 14.
On a 14, the figure's eyes take shape. And you feel something in your chest. And you look down, and this figure has plunged what looks to be a shadowy sword through your chest. Blackened blade of a scimitar. You take 7 points of damage.
I am down.
As you fall back and collapse in this cairn. The sword, as it hits the ground, takes physical form. As it's shoved out of you a little bit as your body hits the ground. And there is this black, shadowy, jagged scimitar sticking out of your chest as the last bit of your life essence starts to pour. This thick, coagulated, dead blood seeping from your chest. Ingrid just looks at you as the magic begins to immediately dissipate. The shadow's gone. The voices are gone. And the flame goes out, replaced by the crimson and emerald that was twisting earlier. And the cairn lights back up. Yeah. How interesting. Well, she kind of leans over you, hunched over in her quarterstaff. Save yourself, little druid. No one else can. And she snuffs out the light and walks out of the cairn. Make me a death saving throw.
That's just a D20, right?
Yeah. 11 through a 20 is a success. 1 to a 10 is a failure.
Do I get advantages on those?
Not yet.
Okay.
We'll find out.
That's a 9, so that's a failure.
That is a failure.
Okay.
How do you feel about what you've learned? What does Drew feel in this moment?
Frustrated. Like he's
All that you-
grasping at straws.
Make another death saving throw.
The 6.
2 failures. Does Drew have any regrets? Anyone that he'll miss?
Yes.
Because your vision's beginning to fade. It's already dark enough in here. The absence of light. Just a little bit of natural light still coming from the dying light of the outside as the day's beginning to end. Any other thoughts?
Do I have enough strength to pull the scimitar out?
Maybe. Do you want to try?
Mm-hmm.
You put your hands on the blade. Your fingers begin to cut into the edge of the blade as you desperately try to get a grip. But you've lost so much strength. And there's no blood coming from your fingers, just carving into meaty flesh. Just before the lights go out, you feel a hand on the back of your head. And you feel the blade pulled from your chest. And you feel something purse to your lips. Some kind of vial as it begins to pour into your mouth. Do you accept it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just after, I should say, you swallow the substance. you're able to muster just one word. Why?
Because, darling, the cards told me to.
And that's where we're going to end the session.
Excuse me?
Hold on.
Nah.
We don't even have a recording of this. This is.
Well,
Hold
okay,
on.
so I was able
Hold on.
to
Let me
get
type
some
that quote up
recording
real
going
quick.
once it all got back, but I had to jump on my phone for a bit, so I'll do some merging and see what I can do. It's not going to be a good recording, is what I said. I didn't say there wasn't a recording. God, I'm not incompetent. My internet just went out.
Yeah, IT happens. It's been
Oh,
IT
yeah.
issues been all over tonight.
Oh yeah, dude. What's it called? A couple days.